Hello Virgo, this is Gypsy Spirit here with you, ready to give you your Goddess Power Oracle card reading for the week of September 5th through September 11th. And I hope you're having a great week. And I will tell you a little bit about the Goddess Power. I don't know a whole lot about goddesses. I don't know all of them, who they are and what they represent. But about a year and a half ago, I bought these beautiful oracle cards, the Goddess Power, and just absolutely love them. I include them in all my readings when people come here to get a reading. The messages are beautiful, the artwork on the cards are beautiful, and so I decided to include this. But I will read from the book to tell you what the card means, and then I will follow through with it with a story that is related to the card. So let's go ahead and get started, Virgo. The card that I drew for you is Artemis, and just look at that beautiful artwork. It is all about focus. She's about focus. So that is what we're going to be talking about today, is focus. Sometimes with all the crazy that goes on in this world, it's hard to focus, right? So the empowerment message is Athena, the Greek goddess of, no, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. I'm sorry, Artemis, focus. The empowerment message is, in order to fully embrace the intentions you have set in motion and your current conditions, it's important to seize the moment. Now is the time you can truly make your mark. As a Greek goddess of the hunt, Artemis will help to guide your arrow. Surrender yourself to the process of whatever is calling for your attention. Immerse yourself fully in whatever needs your focus and allow yourself the experience of deep, abiding trust. If you aim true and your heart is open and pure, grateful for all the bounty that surrounds you, your deepest desires will manifest before you like magic. Your alignment messages, sometimes you can be so focused on one thing, one way, one outcome, and one expectation that you run the risk of losing the opportunity to experience what you genuinely desire. You may be so fixated that you become blind to what is truly yours and what will be in your best and highest good. The goddess of the hunt offers this alignment task. Soften your focus and allow the fulfillment of your desire to come to you as it will. Whether you hit your mark now is not the point. Rest your eyes and release the tension in your body. By taking this break, you will avoid shooting yourself in the foot and instead recognizing that you are so loved. Love, success, and opportunity, all that is truly yours, will not run past you. Call on the goddess Artemis to remind you of this truth. So I will tell you a story. Many years ago, I was married at the time in 2005, and my husband and I had this beautiful house that we had a hard time making payments on it, and it was just time to move. And at the time, I was selling vintage clothing online through eBay, and I had a website, and I also had some of my things listed in some of these antique online malls, and I did very well. And it got to a point where I would spend a lot of money on some vintage clothing. I would go to estate sales and spend $300-400. And in the beginning, my husband would freak out because I'd spent so much money. But when he saw me, what I did with the stuff that I bought and how much money I made from the stuff that I had bought, how I tripled what I had spent, he began to trust me a little bit more. He actually told me that one time when I spent $100 on some slips, some vintage slips. And he said, because I asked him, I said, are you okay that I spent this money? He said, about a year ago, I would have told you yes, but now I totally trust your judgment, and I've seen you turn money around. And so no, I don't have a problem with $100. But anyway, it came time that I had wanted to open up a store. I visioned this, having a store that was a house and having different rooms and everything, and vintage clothing and all that in a house. And I wanted a house really badly. And my husband had told me, you know, no, we can't buy a house, we can't um, get a store. I can't put you into a store right now because we have a lot of bills, and if we get out of debt, then I'll let you open up a store. Well, guess what? We sold our house and we got out of debt, and we had money left over, lots of money. And I was just kind of kidding in a way, and I said, oh, I should open up a store. And he said, you know what? You should. He said, I told you that if we ever got out of debt, you could open up a store. And so, yes, you can open up a store. And so we had not quite sold the house yet. It was on the market, and we had several offers. And I remember we went to see this house, because remember, I wanted a house. It had to be a house. And we went to see this house, and I really liked it. And it was just so perfect. And we went to a few other places too, but I remember my husband telling me at the time when I said, oh, you know, let's try to get this house. And he said, well, I think right now you're putting the cart before the horse, you know, and I listened to him. That was one of the things that, you know, in my marriage, when it came to business, I trusted, you know, like the advice that my husband would give to me. So I was like, okay, we won't get that. So here we were, I guess probably about 2 or 3 weeks before we actually went into escrow, you know, to do the final work of selling the house. And I was still looking, just looking. And I found this ad for a place, and the rent was really cheap. And water and electricity were included, and it was right on a main highway. And so I knew as soon as I pulled in, it was not a house. It was not a house. It was 300 square feet. Okay. But I knew as soon as I pulled into the driveway to go see the landlord, I knew that it was going to be the place. And I remember getting the keys, and I walked in, and it was like, this is it. This is it. And I did not have my husband with me. So I wrote the man a check, and I said, now, if I bring my husband back this afternoon, because he was working, so I'm going to bring my husband, and if he doesn't like it, can I get my money back? And he said, oh, yeah, no worries. So as soon as my husband got home from work, I said, get your shower real quick, and I got someplace to take you. And he, because he had visioned a house too. So I brought him to the place, and he walked in, and he looked around, and he said, this is not a house. This is not what we had in mind at all. I said, yes, you're right. It's not a house. But look at the location. I mean, it was in a perfect location. Perfect. And it had windows, you know, facing the side street and also facing the main street where I could decorate the windows and draw customers in. And then when I told him what the rent was, that really got his attention. And he said, okay, yeah. And I was there for like 3 years, and then I moved to a different location. But it was nothing at all what I had expected. And, you know, when I saw the ad in the paper, I thought, in the beginning, I thought, well, I'm probably not going to like it, but I'm going to go take a chance on it because I know the area, and I'll just go take a look at it. But as soon as I pulled in, I knew. So it's like, you know, you have ideas, you know, of what you want, and we get so fixated on that one thing. It's like you're putting intentions out to the universe, and universe knows what you need, and universe knew that I needed that. And another story I will add to the same sort of situation with my ex-husband is we were the house that we had sold before we had bought that house. We were living in this one house, and we really wanted to get out, and we found a piece of property, and we jumped the gun. We bought a piece of property way, way out in the far away, far away, and we were going to have. We wanted a modular home. We were going to have a modular home built on this piece of property, and we had our vision of how it was going to be and everything. And there was so much work that had to be done, and it just seemed like we had put down a deposit, and everything, after about 6 weeks of waiting and things kept going wrong, I finally went to the person who had the owner of the company or whatever, and I said, sometimes I said, I'm beginning to feel like this isn't what we're supposed to be doing. And he said, you know what, you've had so many things try to block you. He said, you might be right. He said, I'll give you your money back, and you can go find whatever it is you're supposed to be doing. So here we were. We had this piece of property, but we didn't have a house to build on it, and so we're just like stuck. Where are we going to move? What are we going to do? And I kept searching and searching, and housing is just so expensive. And so I ran across this ad. I had a real estate agent. Ran across this ad in the paper, and it said that it had all these rooms. It was like 5 rooms and 2.5 baths, and it was located, in a good place. And I thought, well, that's really weird, but the price seemed really good. So I called my agent. I called the agent that had listed it, and she said to me, I had called her twice, and the second time, because I told her, I said, well, I'm going to get my agent to take me out there to see it. And she said, okay. And in the second conversation, I called her again for something else, and I don't remember what it was, but the last thing she said to me, she said, oh, did I tell you that this is a modular home? I said, no, but that really is what we're looking for. So we went out. My agent and I, again, my husband was working. He didn't get to go with us. And my agent and I go out there. She forgot her lockbox key, and we were in my car, and her lockbox key was in her car, which was at my house. And so we couldn't get in. So I'm kind of like looking through the windows, and it's perfect. I can tell it's just perfect. It's exactly what we had been wanting. And, looking through all the windows, and I said, okay, I want you to call the agent right now and give her full price offer. And my agent was like, Lisa, don't you want to talk to Rick about this first? Don't you want Rick to say? I said, no. Because I used to sell real estate, so I know time is of the essence. If you see a piece of property you want, you got to get it right now. You got to put your offer in right away. And so it's so funny. My agent is like, no, let's go get Rick. You've got plenty of time. Let's go get Rick and let him see the house. And so we're driving off. And at this time, cell phones were not the big thing at the time. And as we turned the corner, we got back out on the main highway, and I started crying. I started crying. I was like, you got to call her. You got to call her now. I want you to call her right now. Tell her there's a full price offer coming in. I don't want to lose this house. And so she's like, okay, calm down. So she did. And again, we get home, and as soon as we get home, Rick is pulling up, and I said, go get your shower right now. I got someplace to take you. And he said himself that as soon as he walked in, we finally got the lockbox key, and we were able to go in. And my husband said as soon as he walked into the front door, he knew that was the place. So the essence of the story is, we wanted a modular home. We wanted something bigger, but we didn't have the money to pay like thousands and thousands of dollars for like a brick home. So we wanted a modular home. That was in our minds. But we thought we had to go way out to the country, which, now that when it was all over and done with, there's no way that we would have been happy where we were going to be had we had done it our way. And so, but we knew we were going to get a house. We were trying to stay focused, and sure enough, we got the exact home of what we were looking for. We didn't have to go through all the headaches of having a new house built for us and all that. And there it was right there. So just trust when things aren't going the way you plan it to go. There's a reason for it. So just go with the flow. Anyway, I've gone on enough about all this. I hope you have a really great week, the rest of the week. And I will see you next week. And love and light to you. Bye-bye.